Okay. So few of them has done homework. Okay. So yes, this is a defect. Okay. But thing is, this defect is kind of yeah, it's a defect actually. It's not working in the Chrome and it's working in Firefox. Okay. So that will be a defect. Okay. So right, this is an interesting perspective of testing. You can. Okay, this is interesting. So maybe you can, try it out. But it's up to requirements. You also see the requirements. What is the requirements and what exactly are you testing? Okay. So this is good. This is good. Um, so if you can also do this kind of thing. This is because you have to open some more other defect, right? You have to open some defect. Okay. So you want to try to at least open few of the defects. Okay. So okay, so this is kind of little bit different here. Okay. To update your address, you can uncheck and check it out so that that gets updated. So okay, so that's good. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so here's the thing. Very green. So wanted to explain this thing, but uh, see, the thing is, this is really not a defect, okay? Um, because unless you have the requirements, so we don't have requirement for this. Okay, you have to look. You cannot say like this image should be right side, image should be left side. Unless you have requirement, you can judge that. But since you don't have the requirement, you cannot really say that it should be in the left side or right side. Okay, so um, this is something which I wanted to tell you beforehand, but we didn't have enough time. So okay, so you have to make sure. So it has to be in the requirement. So what is the requirement? So if this can be question, this can be question. Maybe what you can do is take a screenshot, put in an email to your lead saying that the requirement doesn't say about this, and I find this is a requirement. Tell them email, and can I open a defect, or is it really a defect for this? Okay, so you want to do that if you find that is an issue. Okay, this is good. Okay, so there is a fine line between a defect and the feature. Okay, the feature is something which really doesn't exist. Okay, which doesn't exist. That means it's not there in the requirement, and you think it should be there because you have done a lot of testing in based on your experience, and you think that should be there because it will become user friendly, or it will be helpful for others. So that's called something called feature. Defect is something which doesn't matches with the requirement. Requirement says one thing and it shows it. So there's a difference between the feature and the defect. Okay, there's a fine line between those because feature is something you want to have that thing. Okay, but it doesn't show in the requirements. Okay, because based on your experience, the various website you went through various website and you found this and this is really helpful. Okay, and a lot of people use this. So you want to see that thing. So that's a feature. That is a good. I mean, you can request to business analyst. Okay, once you get good rapport with all your team members, maybe you can request, you can talk to a business analyst, hey, you know what, this is a kind of thing we are looking up. There's no sign in, there's no guest user. Is it, this is something you can add it, or does the business really think it should be a good idea to add it? So that is the feature that you're actually requesting BA to add the new feature. Okay, it's not a defect. That doesn't exist in requirement. That doesn't is there in the that doesn't also there in the website. So that is something like feature. Okay, so okay, yeah, this we will be going through that. Okay, we will be writing test cases, and also we'll be going to that pretty quick. Okay, yeah, we are running out of time, so let's check it quick. Okay, so this is what we discussed in the class. So that's what I told you, right? You have to bring your own issues. So this is I discussed in the class. Okay, Delaware doesn't have sales tax, so it should be 0. So that's already know that. Okay, so you have to come up with something which is okay. So whatever, so that's good, plenty of things. So whatever you're trying to take an issue, okay, whatever you want to do is you want to communicate with your lead, okay. You don't, just because you found a defect doesn't mean it's a defect, okay. It's not necessarily an issue. What you want to do is you want to coordinate with the defect, like what? Like you take a screenshot and says, hey, what, this is what I've, just take a, put your lead name here, tell what you're trying to say, and tell them that this is the issue I'm, trying to find, and is it an issue? Okay, can I open a defect for this? Okay, so that's what you want to do it. Okay, just because you found an issue, you just don't go to this, tool and just start opening a defect. Why? Because here's the thing. Your boss will ask you a question. They'll just they'll call you. They'll just get a call and hey, can you stop by at my desk? And the moment your boss will ask you, who told you to open the defect? Okay, valid question, right? Who told you to open defect? So you are not going to do anything because you don't have any answer for that because you did by yourself. Okay, you didn't coordinate it with your team. So that's the reason, right? Coordination is very important. Okay, so you want to make sure coordinate with the team. Okay, so here's the thing: what you guys didn't found. Okay, there was the one defect right here, right? So this copyright issue is showing as 1997. Okay, so I don't think anyone opened this. Okay, this might not be a big issue for finance or something, but if it's going to healthcare, that would be a federal compliance issue. If you are not opening such kind of issue, or this will, if it gets in production, it's you get a compliance issue. Okay, that would be a legal problem. So you have to see this kind of things. Okay. Otherwise, the one who is going to get hold of it is QA guy, not developer, not architect, no one. There is a QA guy who will get hold of it. That why it was not, done in QA, why it was caught in production. Okay, so you don't want to happen that one. So that was the very first one. I don't think anyone has opened. And the second one, what I was actually looking for is someone who would open the issue, such critical issue, just like this. Okay, so let's go back to what I was saying. So what I was looking was this. Nobody opened this defect, right? So this is a defect. So what's happening is whenever you're holding your mouse over this image, it's changing into hand cursor. You see this? No, it's not supposed to be URL here. Okay, it's not Amazon.com. Okay, but it's changing into hand cursor, and the moment you click on this, oh, server error. So this is a defect. So I don't think anyone has opened. Did anyone open this? Okay. So this was I was actually looking for, for your testing. Okay. So people who have not done, they will be having a better one more homework, final homework. There you can do it better. Okay. So let's go back to here. Now we know how this works, right? We know how to open a defect. Okay. Now, again, I told you to remember that just because you found a defect doesn't mean that it has to be a defect, okay? You have to coordinate, okay? Coordination is very important. If you coordinate with the lead and just find out that the lead says, yes, open this defect, okay? Only then you're going to do it, okay? Now, once you know your leads gave a green signal, okay, now you can open a defect now. This is a test management tool, Rally. Okay, so I'll be giving you access for this tool. Make sure you guys don't delete anything. Okay, so if see, here's the thing. See what happened at previous batches. I told them not to delete anything. Okay, there's a lot of user stories, lot of test cases because other people are doing homework, right? They deleted it. Okay. Now, second time I told them not to delete it, they did it for second time. Now, third time I told not to delete it, they did it again. So if this is the case, now you'll be having very hard time in your job. If you are doing the same thing, even after saying it, it's up to you. Okay, I don't care. If you delete something here, it doesn't matter. But if you are deleting that at your workplace something, okay. Now that will get more attention than your work, okay? So everyone will be, looking at you, what you're trying to do. So don't delete anything, okay? So it's up to you, it's, I don't keep telling on this, it's because you are responsible for what you have done, okay? So nobody else is responsible. You have to remember that, okay? So don't delete anything here. Okay, so once you get this access, by today I'll be giving you access for this. Okay, so this is a test management tool, Rally. Okay, and okay, so once you go to this plan, click on this user story. Now, okay, the first thing what you want to find out is the project. Which project are you working on? Now you see there's a lot of projects here. Okay, okay. So you see this, oops. Okay, so this is various projects. So we are working on particularly this project. Now, okay, you may or may not have access. Most of the time you will not have access for other projects, okay? Because if you're only, then the other projects you will be having, if you're doing some testing. Otherwise, you'll be only having limited access for yes, testing is concerned, okay? So here, this will be your testing perspective. And you want to know, then who will tell you which project you'll be working on. Okay, the lead, you have to coordinate with the lead. So lead will be normally telling to you. Okay. Okay, so okay, if you have any issues, please check with your respective HR manager because some of the things I'm not sure what's happening in New Jersey. Okay, so maybe you want to check it out with your respective HR manager. Okay, so here first once you find out which project, then you have to figure it out which user story. Okay, which user story. So user story is like requirement. Okay, you have the requirement and you want to start writing your test cases based on the requirement. Okay, and now who is going to tell you that? Your lead. Okay, you have to coordinate with your lead, make sure make sure which user story you're working on, which requirement is it. You need to figure it out by yourself. Most of the time you have to try by yourself. You don't want to go lead for everything. You have to check it out, check with your colleagues. By doing your research by yourself, you have to check it out. Okay. Now let's say we already know. It's a lot of user stories. See, there's a lot of user stories. Now let's say in this scenario, I already know my user story. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll go here and I'll see here. Okay. So these are all user stories. Okay. These are all user story. Now what particular I'll be looking is this is my user story. Okay. This is for this one. This will be my user story. So I'll go ahead and click on that. It's 188, user story number 188, and this is user story. Now whatever you're trying to do here is, you're not doing anything here. Okay, this is nothing for you. This is only to view. Okay, you don't change anything. You just look here what is the requirement here. Okay, that's the only access you'll be having it. You will not have any, even if you have a access for this, you're not doing anything. Okay, just remember that. Why? Because if you're doing anything here, they'll find out. Okay, like how? Let me show you even that. Okay, so here you see this revisions. Okay, if you're messing up with any user story at work, here it says write your name. Okay, here you see this. You're not doing anything. Okay, so this is what you'll see. Your boss will be looking at it, who changed it, and you just get a call. Hey, you stop by my desk, and it'll be just telling you who told you to change this. Okay, so you have to be very careful with this. Okay, so sorry, I'm not able to hear. Can you be a little louder? I think I actually was not able to hear anything much.
This user story, this is an example of showing, right? I mean, for what you're showing, I'm not able to understand. I mean, one more time.
I need to repeat.
No, this user story as an example you're showing, right?
Okay, so yeah, maybe you can ping here because it's not able to hear anything. Maybe you can ping it. So
Yeah, you just ask.
okay, yeah, you can ping it here. So we can. Okay, so this is the this is the user story. Okay, so here if you see here, this is the requirement. So the requirement here, I made it simple. You have the screenshot. Really, it will not be that simple. Okay, you will be having a lot of information because this user story is made keeping a lot of people in mind. Okay, because a lot of people will be working on. Okay, if you're in Agile, then you'll be working with Scrum Master. Okay, you'll be working with developers, a lot of developers. Okay, you'll be working with maybe some architect people too. Okay, and Scrum Master and developer. Okay, there's developer, then business analyst. So a lot of people are here. Okay, so they'll be writing, a lot of information will be there. What your job here is.
What is user story?
Yes, this is a user story.
Story?
Yes, this is a user story.
What is user story?
Oh.
What does it mean by story?
What is a user story? User story, as I told you, it's a requirement.
Requirement for what? Business requirement?
No, it's just a requirement. So those kind of, see, we'll go through that BRD, FRD documents, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so we'll go through those documents. This is here.
So you didn't explain what is BRD, SRD, SRS and all that, and then only you have to explain all these user stories, right? Because in the class they are getting confused basically. When you say user story, they don't understand what is user story in the first place, and they don't know what is BRD and SRD also. See, I know that it is business required document and software requirement document, but in the class, if they are saying that they don't understand what is user story is.
Yeah, so that's what, right? It told as a requirement. I actually told beforehand, actually, this, it's a requirement.
Okay.
Okay, so requirement.
Right.
Okay, so here, so you have straight requirement from what you see here, testing GMO website. So right now we are working on GMO. So that's the requirement for GMO. Does it make sense? Any more questions? So, we'll go through that. The reason, it's actually everything is interrelated with each other. Now, even if I start with documents, now you'll have more questions. Okay, where is this tool? Now you're saying which tool. So it is interrelated with each other. Okay, these documents are one thing. This, test management tool is another thing, and what testing is another thing. So these are all actually interrelated. So even if I have to explain you those documents beforehand, you'll still have more questions, because those things have own things, and it will be related to this again, back to this. Okay, so that's the reason I didn't tell you. Okay, it's up to you how you understand. That's a different thing, but thing is, everything is interrelated with each other. So even if I explain you that before, you will still have these questions. So it's one of the same thing. Any more questions? Okay, so now this is the thing, and you just want to view this. Okay, just see here what you have to do. So here it's I made it simple. Verify all functionality. And no, we'll just do functional testing. So let's do only the functional testing here. Okay, we're just worrying about functional testing. So what I want to do is, first thing is, I want to go here to the task. So if you see this, okay, this module, right? This module bar, you see this? Now you have this details. This details shows about this requirement. This is the task we'll see here, and we'll go to test cases a moment. So once you do this, go to a task, and you want to. It's really not mandatory always for the task, but you want to organize your work, right? Because if you're working more than one project, okay, if you're working more than 2 user stories, 3 user stories, okay, and you want to, organize your work, because you'll get confused, right? A lot of testing, you're doing a lot of testing for different things. So, you want to organize yourself, okay? Or sometimes what happens is it's a mandatory, okay? It's a mandatory, and you have to, work on this task too. So let's create a task here. So let's say I'm doing only functional testing, and click on this. Add with details and functional testing for GMO Online, and okay, here I'm putting my name. It's not, this thing is really not required. Okay, this okay, the reason, because to identify who has written this, so I always recommend to put your name. Okay, so I'll know who is writing, who is doing it. Okay, so once you want to change the state, you can change the state to if you're working on current project, you want to put it in progress, and status you want to vary estimation. This is very important here, estimation. So let's say I'll work on this for 10 hours. Here it's an hours. Okay, we'll just take it as hours, and 10. So 10 means 10 hours. Okay. Now what you're trying to do here, So functional testing for GMO Online. Okay. Okay. Here let's test. Okay. So here to test all functional features for GMO Online. Okay. And if you want expedite, you can put expedite. If you want attachment, you can do it for this scenario. Don't really require it, and just create. So here now you know that you will be working on this, and you know this functional testing and this is planning and estimation is there, and then okay, total time is taken here. Okay. So, any questions? Okay. So this is your created task. Okay. So this is for your tracking purpose, and sometimes even lead. Thing is, this is pretty much flexible. That means your lead might give you work. That means lead might create this and assign it to you, or you can create by yourself, or your boss also assigns to you this work. Okay, it can happen any other way. Okay, but of course, it has to come from your boss or a lead, not for development. No, developer doesn't assign you work. Okay, so you don't get from developer. This will be most time either you create it or your lead will send you or your boss. Okay, so this is how. Okay, so let's go to the test cases. So once you figure it out what's the task, so that means you're working on functional testing. Okay, of GMO website. Okay, now once you go to test cases, now you have to start writing your test cases. Okay, now what you do is click on action. Okay, see here, this is the action. And you need to just hover your mouse. Okay, just hover your mouse, and you just get a new test case. Once you get this, you get this pop-up window, and this is you can add this tag to if you can add tags to. It says GMO functional testing, and then what you're trying to do here. Okay, description. So to test on okay, to test all features of GMO. Let's say functionalities and features of GMO Online. Okay. Now, so this is not really required. This is just okay. Once you've put the description, if you have attachment, you can also have the attachment. And the owner of the test case is always a tester. Okay, to be a QA guy. Okay, sometimes it may happen like the big companies, right? Sometimes you're only writing test cases. That means testing will be somebody else. Okay. So in that case, this will be a different guy, but the same guy will be a QA guy. Okay, you might be only writing test cases, and you will just assign that to that particular test. But that's a rare scenario. It not always happen. Most of the time, who is going to test the application will be writing the same guy. The same guy will be writing test cases. Okay, so that's why you will be the owner of the test case is always a tester. Okay, for project, we know this which project here, so we'll be using this one. And expedite, if you want to expedite, you can do that. Here we'll just here an objective. So what's the objective? If you have the objective, you can add this objective here. I'm just using this one to test all functionalities and features of a GML online. Okay. Okay. So work product, if you see here. So work product is see this work product. This means this is kind of linked. Okay, linked in sense it's linked for your user stories. Whenever you're writing test cases, it has to be against the requirement, right? If you are writing test cases, that means there's a requirement. That's why you're writing test cases. So requirement here is user story. Okay, and so we are linking this. Okay, this is automatically linked for you, so you don't have to do anything. Okay, so that's good. Unless you're writing a test case for a different user story and you're in wrong user story, you can change it. Okay, here you can change it and okay, what type? Okay, we are only right now we are just working on functional. So functional SC and method, is it automated or manual? Let's go to manual and priority. We'll just put it important and risk medium. Okay, so preconditions. What are the preconditions for this? So before testing, right? There are preconditions. That means code should be there in test environment. So let's okay. And the second thing is let's say smoke testing. No, smoke testing should be completed. Okay, and this. Okay, this is the preconditions. And this is let's go to here. There's a post condition too. Anything else you guys remember? Okay, this is the preconditions. Anything else you want to add? Okay, so in post conditions, the code. Okay, here is the we'll go to so regression. Okay, regression testing should be completed and code should be deployed in production. Okay, so this is a post condition. And if you have notes, you can even write the notes here too. Okay. Okay. Now let's start writing our test cases. Okay, we'll just start writing our test cases. You see here, here in this particular tool, you have this two fields located, right? This is the two fields. One is validation input, the other is expected. So what's the input you're giving and what is expecting out of that input? So that's actually the main theme of your test, writing your test cases. Okay, what's the input you're giving and what's the expected output for that? Okay, so what you want to do here is we'll just see this. So we're writing a Chrome browser. Okay, so we'll just use here specific. Enter the URL in the Chrome browser, and we'll just use always enter. Okay, and what's expected? Now expected is home page of Okay, so home page of GMO Online, it is displayed. So that's what always the test case is how you use this test case is what input you're giving and what is the expectation of that out from the given input. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, what is the result and what's the input you're giving. So sometimes it will be the same thing. Okay, so I want to start adding this new fields. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go up here and add action step. So here to get a drop down box. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5. So 1 means you get a couple of fields and 2 means you get two couple of fields. Okay, and so on. So here we'll stick to 1. Okay, just put it 1 and this page gets refreshed. Okay, so what's the input and what's the expected? Okay, so what's the input? So let's say I'm trying to test this button. Okay, I'm trying to test not this button. We are trying to test everything, right? But here I'm writing specifically here. Okay, we'll see here. So enter GMO Online. So what I'll write is okay. So enter GMO Online. Okay. Click on the GMO Online button. Okay. Now what's expected? So we know it gets page navigated into the next page. So here the page name is online catalog. Okay, so that's the URL too. Okay, so what we'll put here is okay, page is navigated to online catalog page. Let me just online catalog. Okay, and so this is my. It's actually the first test case. Okay, this is just to input. Okay, but this is kind of first test case. Now let's start write one more test case. Okay, click on this icon, add action step, and I'll just again choose one. And now you have again the couple of new fields here. Okay, now we are in this page right now. Now what we'll do is just enter this value 10 here. So what I'll do here is enter order quantity for 3% dome tent. Okay. And just put this enter order quantity 10 for 3% of okay. So this is a number, when you are trying to test, you'll be doing a lot of things, but here we'll just put it specific, okay, here. So enter the order quantity 10 for 3% dome tent, okay. Field value, I mean field value, okay. So here we are discussing about writing test cases, okay. So we are trying to write our test cases, okay. Okay, so what is the expected result? So okay, and what you want to do is and click on. So this is what we have done, right? You guys did the homework, right? So that's what we are doing here. We are just trying to write our test cases. Okay, first thing is you first need to write test cases before executing, but we are just going a little bit other way. And click on place an order button. Okay. Place an order button. Then what's happening? Page is navigated to place order. Okay, place order. web page. Just put it as a web page. Okay. Okay, so this is my second test case. Now, again, click on this to write one more test case. I want to write one more test case. Click on one, and let's see what happens. Okay, now you see, here is the problem. Okay, what happened was, this is my second test case. Okay, so this is my second test case, and this is supposed to be third test case, but it came in between. Okay, that's not good. So what we'll do here is, we'll just you have this option action menu is located into this right corner of each field. Click on that, and you want to click on move step down. Okay, now it's good. Now this is my third test case, so it's in third column. Okay, that's now what you want to do is page is displayed. Right? Click on. You can verify the order and click on proceed with order button. Okay, so what's expected on this? What happens is, page is navigated to building information page. Okay. Now, I want to write one more test case. Now here, what I'm trying to do, I don't want to go through that, because for every step it comes in between, and I have to move the step around. It's too much work. Okay, it's labor work. I don't want to do that. So what is the option here you have is, for every field, right? For every second. Okay, let me show this. So you see this two buttons. So I'll be making use of this. So what I'll do is, I'll click on this add action, and then click on one. So what this does is, this displays right after this, right after the field values. Okay, so you see this. So if I'm using this gets in between. So I don't want. It's no more helpful for me. Okay, it's making me to do more work. So I don't want that. So I'll be using this one. Now, what's the next one? Let's see here. So, okay, and what I'll do is fill all the information. And click on place the order button. Okay, so what happens here is, let's see what happens. Place the order button, and the page is navigated to online store receipt. Okay. And okay, so now there's one more button, return to home page button. So what I'll do is, just add one more on one, and I'll just click on return to home page button. Click on. happens is homepage of pages navigated to GeoOnline. So let's see it happens. Yes, that's good. Okay, so this is how you want to write your test cases. Any questions so far? So I'll just click on save and close. So now if I see here, this is my test case. It's test case ID 376, and this is the name of my test case. This is what product. That means which user study it is related to. This is functional. So all this is automatically done for you. Okay, so that's a very good question. So that's good. So why don't we write for negative scenarios, right? That's right. We have to do for positive, we have to do for negative, and boundary values. So these things, that's good. So what happens is the problem is you don't want to exceed more than 20 test cases because 20 is max. 20 steps. Okay, what I mean is 20 steps. We have written 5, right? You can do as much as you want, but the problem is, you don't want to spend more time in writing your test cases than, executing the test case, okay? The reason because your efficiency drops. If you're spending more time on just documenting it and, so we'll just keep it as high level. So that's the reason, what is a test case? So, somebody asked what is a test case? It's a high level document. That's what I meant by high level. That means not everything information is displayed here. Okay, so now that's good. Somebody asked, what are you going to do with okay? So it depends. Okay, somebody asked, right? So how can you? There's nothing like limit, but you want to maintain some because this gets too much tedious. The reason it becomes tedious because you are assigned more than one project and you want to keep writing your test cases. This becomes a lot of work for you. So technically there is no limit, but you want to limit for yourselves if you want to do other work too, right? You cannot spend one whole day for just writing this case. So there's no limit, but you want to make sure you're writing it properly. Okay, so here, so what I'll do is, let's say somebody asked, right, positive scenario. So what I'll do is like simple. I'll just write for once you've done this. Tested for okay. Tested for primary positive scenario. This is some information you're giving in your test case. Okay, because I don't want to write lengthy test case for like 30, 50 test case or positive scenario, negative scenario, boundary values, and Google Chrome browser, Firefox. I don't want to do that. So what I'll do is I'll just put here simple, tested for positive scenarios, tested for, this is an option. You can come up with better option, that's the thing, but here what we are trying to keep is, you're keeping your test case as a high level, okay? So this is what it means by high level. You have to do all those testings, okay? Positive, negative, but you're not really showing everything in one test case, but you're just, entering some information so other people know what you have done, okay? Tested for negative scenarios, so for boundary values, for fields, okay? And just also, is there anything else tested for cosmetic issues, cosmetic scenarios? We just had the new thing, cosmetic scenarios. Okay, and tested for header, footer, images. text box, etc. And once you've done this, you want to save and close. Now this gives a brief idea that you have written test cases, but since there are so many test cases, so many steps, so you have included here right here, and you just kept important steps as various steps. Okay. Okay. So somebody asked, right, what is a cosmetic scenario? Cosmetic is cosmetic. Okay, that means it's whatever related here. Okay, in the web page, let's say this image is not showing properly, or there is, let's say, spelling mistake. Okay, let's take as an example here, spelling mistake. Let's say this guy missed green, they missed M. Okay, and instead of they put this mountain. So that's a spelling mistake. That's a cosmetic issue. Anything which is some text is missing, or something which is related to web page not looking good, requirement is shows one thing, here it's the page is showing something else, that's called cosmetic. Okay, and this is the header. Okay, this is the header. This is the header and this is the footer. Okay, so this is the main content of this page. Okay, so those are the cosmetic. Any more questions?
So Manu, on that expected result, what do we write? If you write all the positive, negative, boundary, cosmetic test cases, just briefly, and what about the expected result? Do we do that briefly too?
Yeah, you can do that briefly too. You don't have to be more detailed. You just if you tested, then if you have any issues, you might want to write it. But issues you really don't write in test case, but yeah, what is expected and all the positive scenarios should be completed. What is negative, all the negatives should be completed. You can be just small. You don't have to be more detailed for that. Okay, somebody asked, is grammatical mistake? Yes, that also comes under cosmetic issue. Any more questions? So here I've written 5. Normally you can go up to 10, at the max 20. 20 even, I don't prefer writing 20 test case. I'll just short it down to 10, and it just adds like this. The reason you want to write this, because even if your boss is lenient, that's fine. Your boss is good, it doesn't care about it. The problem comes when the audit review. Okay, when they review it, when the audit people review it, a lot of people will be there. Okay, your developers, your lead, your boss, a lot of people. So they will ask you questions. So why is this not tested? So what happened to this? Why this was not tested? So that's the reason you want to write this. Okay, this becomes important, and you can explain them. This, you don't really write detailed information test case. So we have written here, but we have tested it, and any issues, we have actually opened defect and was fixed. That's what you want to talk. So yeah. So static testing is different. Okay, it's not really this one. Static testing is not really, you can do that for text. Okay, you can do for the text, and so that's a different thing. All testings are different. Okay, there's different reasons to do that test. Okay, any more questions? Okay, so what we have done is we have just we have just written a test case. Okay, but you want to execute the test case. Okay, all right, let's go to this test case. Without executing, it doesn't help. Okay, it doesn't help. So we want to execute. How do you do that? Okay, so here let's see here. This 3, see this 3 icons here. This means the generated results. This means you can edit it. This you want to copy this whole test case. Okay, so those are 3 icons here. Okay, let's make use of it. Click on this result. So you are generating result, and okay, you have to put this build number. You know what? Let's build number. You have to check with your lead. Okay, what's the build number? So in this case, we'll just be using a date. Okay, that's the meeting 04 13. Okay, we'll just take that to a bit. And verdict, we'll just did pass duration. How much time did you take to execute? Let's put it here. Okay. Attachment, okay, we'll talk about this in a moment. We have some time left, so we'll talk about this. Now, what happens is you want to successfully okay. So once you have done this, save and close. Now what happens is, if you notice, a new plus icon shows up. Okay, you see here the plus icon. This was not there before because you executed it. Now it shows have more information on this. So it says, okay, successfully executed test cases for Geoma Online. Okay, and so that's how it is. Any questions so far? Okay, so here's the one thing. Just executing this test case doesn't help. Okay, so see, here's the thing. I'm always trying to say in a real-time scenario, because real-time scenario is completely different. Okay, what you're learning here, is real-time. It will be completely different. So I'm trying to help you out most of the time in the real time, how it will be. Okay, so now what happens is, your boss will call you, and they say there was a production issue, but how come it was not tested? Okay, so boss will ask you, because you are responsible for that. You was responsible for this project, and they'll ask you, okay, you say, no, we have tested it. Okay, we have tested it. Look at this. We have completed it. Now, the next question, your boss will be asking you, how would I know that you have tested it? Okay, it's a valid question, right? How would I know that you have tested it? Okay, you have tested it. How would I know? So here, what you're gonna do? Okay, what you want to do is always put the screenshot what you have done. Okay, let's see here how you can do here. So you remember, we saw this attachment section. Okay, this is what we are making use of it. Now what we'll do here is, okay, now the way I do it, it's different. Okay, you can use that. You don't have to use it. It's up to you. But let's see here. So you want to take screenshot for almost every test case you have done. Okay, so that's very important. I mean, it's optional. It's completely optional. I don't care you do it. I don't care you don't do it. It's not my problem. Thing is, you have to. If your boss asks you, you have some evidence for yourself to save yourself, right? Because how would I know that you have completed? Okay, you have completed, but I don't see anything that you have completed. Okay, that's a valid question. So what you want to do is, okay, the first screenshot. You want to take this in the first test case. Okay, this is the web page. Okay, good. I'll use this, and you just use this test case. I just don't want to display all the information. That's fine. I have this problem with this. Okay, great. That's good. My MS mode is when it gives problems. Great. Okay. Now once you've done this, now second test case. I want to click on this and put this 10 and screenshot. And we'll just use this. This is my second test case. Oops. Now my third test case will be clicking this button and this page will be showing up. Okay, and take a screenshot. Settings this and okay. Then I'll go to the next test case. That's proceed with order and fill up all this information. And take a screenshot. I mean, you can also do this in MS Word. MS Word also has the same feature to crop. Okay, here I'm using Paint, but it's up to you. No, you don't have to stick to the same thing. So. Now, let's choose the last screenshot. Place an art. Great. Now we have taken all the screenshots and you want to save this. So save my desktop. Results. I'll just name it as results and save it. Okay, great. Now what you want to do is once you have documented all the screenshot, you want to use this option attachment and use for results. Here you go, and that will get uploaded. And save close. Okay. Now there's an attachment. Now you have a good reason to answer that question that if there was an issue and your boss said, okay, how would I know that you have tested it? Okay. So now, you know what, I have documented this and at that time there was no issue. I'm not sure what happened in between. I'm not exactly sure the developers, about this was changing or something, but when we tested it, there was no issue. And even if there was issue, we opened the defects and all those fixed. So from our point of view, there was no difference. Okay, this is what you want to say to your boss. Okay, again, it's completely optional. Okay, it's completely optional for you. I don't care if you put a screenshot. I don't care if you document it. It's not my problem. But you want to make sure that if any questions of such kind from your boss comes in, you want to answer it. Okay, so that's the reason. Okay, so any questions? So this is the real-time scenario, right? So yeah.
Hi Manu. So what about the bugs? If we find any bugs while doing the test cases, who do we report or where do we write?
I'm sorry, what box? You found some box? I didn't get that.
Like when you're doing the test cases, like positive, negative, boundary.
Right.
So in case, like we did yesterday, if some of them doesn't function properly,
right? Okay. So you mean,
so
yeah. So
we save
you mean defect, right? You found a defect.
defect. Yes.
Right. So in that case, what you want to do first thing is once you found a defect, I would recommend that coordinate with your lead. Maybe if your lead is available, go ahead and you can check the, hey, what, this is a defect I found. I found like this is defect because in requirement is showing something and here is showing something else. Okay, can I open a defect or is this a defect? You want to check up with your lead first. Okay, then let's say lead is not available, is working from home. You can send an email. Put it the screenshot. Put it. Can I open a defect for this? This looks. This requirements. It doesn't match us with the requirement. Can I open a defect? Only then when the response comes from your lead, let's say we responded yes, open this defect, or no, okay, this is already it's no issue. We are not opening any defects. Something like that. Then you have to proceed that way. Coordination is very important. If you're not coordinating, you will have a lot more questions from your boss.
Okay. So your lead could be the developer or project manager or
No.
VA.
The lead is okay. So let me the hierarchy, the way the hierarchy works, right? There is a QA analyst. Okay, let's say the group of QA analysts, 3 to 4 QA analysts. Okay, there will be one lead for that. That means 3-4 people who's handling. That guy is also QA guy. QA 4 to 5 people who is handling those 4 to 5 people is called lead. Okay, again the similar way that happens for the developer. Okay, to that lead. Actually, normally you don't directly report to your boss. Normally, it's not, unless you're a senior or something. Lead reports to the manager, QA manager. Okay, lead reports to QA manager. You report to the lead, and manager reports to the director. Okay, that's how the hierarchy works. Okay. Okay, once you become senior, let's say working for 2-3 years now, you can work with a lot of things. You'll be having get hold of a lot of applications, lot of tools, so you can directly report to your boss at that time. But to start with, I would not recommend you to directly talk to your manager directly. You first want to talk to your QA lead. Because QA, he's also QA. He will be also doing this, but he will be having more other work to do. Okay, not just testing, but kind of organizing it.
Okay, got it.
Same QA guy, but different responsibilities.
And we do that through emails.
Yes, if lead is available, you want to talk to him. If he's not, so then email. Sometimes issues, okay, issues, right? You let's say you found some typical issue, okay, just like this, some issue, shipping handling, and for specific characters it's coming like this for specific. So you don't have that, right? So you want to go through email. Specific issues which you really can't go and explain that, theoretically. Because they don't understand, right? Once you put, screenshot and put it and send an email, then you can go ahead and talk. So, okay, so it's both. You talk even face to face and through emails too. So.
Okay.
Any more questions? So, you'll be having homework, you'll get, I'll be giving you access to this. So just don't delete anything because a lot of people will be doing homework, okay? So many people are there. So it will hamper their work, okay? But real time also you're not doing anything with deletion, okay? In some places, there is also, you're not even allowed to delete your own test case, that's the restriction you have. So make sure you understand that, and based on that, you can start going. And everyone has to write only here, no one else, because there's a lot of user stories. Okay, I'll be giving you the complete instructions. Make sure you guys follow the instructions, okay? If you're getting these instructions, right, make sure you guys follow it, okay? Because that's more important. Okay. So you guys have one more class, right? So we'll just close it here. So can we close this class for today? Okay. Thank you guys.